My name is Seibo Shen. That's spelled S-E-I-B as in boy O. Last name is S-H-E-N, and I'm the founder of VapeXhale.
Awesome, great. So let me just get right into it. So how did the EVO come about? How did this whole concept of creating this product come?
So the concept came about, it first was a little seed in my mind back in 1997. That's when I first discovered what vaporization was. So I know a really, really long time ago, but I've always been a health fanatic. So when it came to consume cannabis, I wanted to, utilize it through a vaporizer.
Mm-hmm.
But I also fell in love with water pipes as well. And throughout the years, I had collected quite a few different vaporizers, but always really wanted a vaporizer that was kind of built to work with water pipes. A few different ones came to the market, like the Vaporizer, the LSV, as well as Riptech Heat Wand, but none of them really met my personal kind of requirements. So after, I guess, 13 years of buying vapors, I decided to create my own, and that was back in 2010, and then we finally released it in November of 2013.
Beautiful, beautiful. And you mentioned vaporization and how much you have learned about it and all the things that you're getting into. And there's a lot of different vaporizers out there, and some of them may not even really be vaporizing. Do you feel that the term vaporizer is used a little loosely with products and with different things that are coming out these days?
Definitely. I think that early on, the term vaporizer, it just meant something other than combusting, a different methodology than combustion. But throughout the years, there's been a lot of technological advances, like from conductive heat to convective heat.
Mm-hmm.
So there are quite a few different types, and, vaporizers, in the past, using it generically, it was perfectly fine. But today, especially with e-cigarettes, with portables, with concentrate vaporizers, I do think that we need to develop, I guess, a more sophisticated taxonomy to refer to the various different types of vaporizers.
Yeah, and you guys have a special type of vaporization, I believe, with the EVO. I kind of forget what you dub it, but the heat, I think it's the, what is it called again?
One of the features is the Perpetuheat technology.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's our proprietary heat algorithm to quickly and effectively compensate for any air temperature change that may occur if someone inhales extremely aggressively or even softly. But our whole point was when creating this vaporizer, if we just kind of backtrack, I said I first became familiar with the idea in 1997. Once I became familiar with the idea, I tried to get everyone to switch over to vaporization, but was having trouble. So for us, the main thing that I had heard from my friends and my circle of people that I know was that vaporizers always required the user to adjust their inhalation style to the vaporizer. So when we designed our vaporizer, we wanted something that would adjust to the user. So the user could just inhale however they wanted to inhale, and they would get the same result, which was thick, milky, tasty vapor.
Nice, nice. In terms of, where you guys want to be and where you want to bring the company, what are the most important factors to the success of VapeXhale and the products that you'll be releasing and have released?
Yeah, first and foremost, we do consider ourselves a cannabis products company, but primarily we consider ourselves like a health and technology company. So we have a roadmap of future products that are coming out, which are just going to be products, some of them vaporizers, and some of them not quite ready to disclose right now. But the context of all the products will be different ways for a user to consume cannabis without having any detrimental effects to their health, and also do it in a way that would be somewhat familiar to their smoking ritual to make the transition a little bit easier. So, a lot of our customers currently own that, were previous, and that made the transition from smoking to vaporizing a whole lot easier for them.
Yeah, and you mentioned, the healthy aspect, and a lot of those that are consuming cannabis are patients. And I know that, how does the EVO benefit those that are looking, to cure ailments and ease pains and those things?
Yeah, so when we designed our vaporizer, we wanted it to be the healthiest vaporizer on the market. So I guess first and foremost is if anyone switches from smoking to vaporization, they're going to do themselves a whole lot of good already. Mm-hmm. But for us, what we wanted to do was kind of go above and beyond what the status quo was. So, over the last 14 or 15 years, as I've bought, 40 to 50 vaporizers, when I opened them up, some of them use materials that I would consider medical grade materials, and some of them didn't. Mm-hmm. And then there were other vaporizers that did use the right materials, but they didn't separate the air path from the electronics and the heater. Yeah. If you're a engineer of any caliber, you'll know that you really want to separate the heat from the printed circuit board as the heat potentially rises, the circuit board could begin off-gassing, and that kind of defeats the purpose for switching to vaporization in the first place. So what we did was we completely separated the heater core from the air path from the electronics, and we also created an air path that is 100% glass, aluminum and ceramic. These are all perfectly safe materials to use as your heater core. Mm-hmm. But we also knew that, especially for connoisseurs, there is a certain aspect to utilizing glass, like folks that are really into wine already know. Hey, if you buy an expensive bottle of wine, you're not pouring it into a red plastic Solo cup. You're drinking it out of glass.
Exactly.
So in addition to being extremely safe, it's just a way for you to really taste, your favorite herbs or oils and have it in a manner that is also healthy and, like I said, non-toxic for your body.
Yeah, and I mean, all of that is great for the patients, but is this a practical product for recreational users? I mean, what is the best, what are the biggest benefits for them?
Yeah, very, very salient question. So for us, there were three things that we really wanted to accomplish when creating this vaporizer. So the first one I went over already, which was ease of use, which was basically the vaporizer could adjust to the user's inhalation style. Mm-hmm. The second thing we wanted to do was to create an extremely healthy vaporizer, which I just went over. But the last thing, to your point, was, hey, a lot of us, especially recreational users in Washington and Colorado, they will consume cannabis for different reasons other than just medicinal. So we wanted this to be an extremely enjoyable product to use as well. And when I say enjoyable, that's just another word for utilizing a methodology that will create a similar experience to smoking. So for us, that experience was opaque vapor, so that visually we know that a lot of people, they understand that, hey, with vaporizers, it's not necessarily going to be quite as thick as smoke. Yeah. But if we could kind of bridge that gap, then we know that mentally and physically our customers are going to be happy with that result. And that's kind of what we strive for. Healthy, thick, vapor, and easy to use.
Yeah, I mean, I've used it personally, especially with dry herb mostly, and I definitely feel like I get enough smoke, and it's almost like it's more than enough. So yeah, I agree with that. I think that it's definitely milky constantly. It's a very good device. What do you think? Everybody has these. What are the biggest hurdles in regards to reaching your goals that you guys are trying to conquer?
So I think that one of the toughest things for reaching our goals, and probably something that you could also empathize with, is there is a lack of market data in this industry. So a lot of the decisions that we need to make at first were gut decisions. Now that we've been selling for about a year now, now we can look at some historical data to make some more strategic decisions. But in the end, I think the toughest thing for us is, and you brought this up earlier, which is, vaporizers is a very generic term. Some people are used to paying $50 for a pen vaporizer, and, when you are asking them to pay 10 times more than that for a VapeXhale EVO, many times it's hard for them to justify the additional costs. So a lot of what we've been doing is helping the education process for our customers, and, whether it's, new marketing collateral, new videos, working with people such as yourselves, I think the more we get people talking and having intelligent conversations about vaporizers and what separates the best from the middle of the pack to the lag, will really help people understand, why they should spend more for a premium product. And we've always tried to pattern ourselves after companies like Apple that have done a great job of positioning themselves with premium products. And, not to say that we're there, but, those are our goals, and that's what we're working towards, and really trying to bring a premium experience. And once people try it, then it's much easier for them to understand. But, that is kind of like the biggest hurdle right now, which is how do you justify such a huge price increase?
Yes.
And that's something that we're continually trying to solve.
Awesome. So 3 words that describe VapeXhale.
3 words. So I would like to say resourceful, innovative, and I guess the last one is kind of like 2 words, but hardworking. I mean, the first time we met, I think I called you after hours, and you picked up the phone, and we had a chance to chat. I think you may have remembered I was complimenting you on that, because that's definitely the same thing that we do over here, which is basically, I don't give any of our workers specific work hours. I just say get the work done, and I trust that our employees, do the right thing, and almost all the time they do. So that's been an awesome thing.
What does the future look like for VapeXhale? What is next for you guys? What's on the horizon?
So on the horizon for us is, especially for the holiday season, is we're going to be introducing a whole lot of new glass options, awesome. Ones that a lot of our customers have been asking for. So I don't want to spoil any of the surprises, but if any of your listeners and viewers are already EVO customers, they probably already had that small wish list. So that's going to be available in about 1.5 to 2 weeks. And then we're also working on a digital version of our device that is going to be Bluetooth enabled, and also working on a portable as well. Awesome. We really wanted to kind of bridge the gap between the performance you see from portables and a desktop unit, and kind of really bring the best of both worlds, so you could have the power of a home unit with the portability of a portable.
Wow. Well, I'm excited for that. I'm definitely excited to check that out. What are I mean, you guys collaborate a little bit with some of the other glass companies out there to create the glass pieces for the top of the EVO. Who are some of those companies that you guys work with?
Yeah, so very good question. Early on, we partnered with companies like Sovereignty, Stone Glass Works, Vertigo Glass. More recently, we've been doing collaborations with Evolver, Soulshine Family Glass, as well as Swagger Glass.
Yeah.
And we're always kind of on the lookout for new people to partner with. I mean, we're still a relatively small company. We're 11 people right now, but anytime we find any local artists or any artists that our customer base are interested in, the latest is a glass blower by the name of Gordo Scientific. Mm-hmm. He has a pretty good Instagram following. Not a huge name, but the work that he does is extremely meticulous. He created his own version of the turbine that he calls a Riptide. And we'll be featuring some of his glass in the very near future as well. So it's just kind of our way of giving back to the community, because, I don't know if you know, but the whole idea for the VapeXhale EVO, it was conceptualized by myself, but I kind of crowdsourced a lot of the engineering benefits that went in. So, I kind of look at this as a vaporizer that was, kind of created by the people. I was just a facilitator of it. And the glass community played a huge role in it. So anytime we could give back to the glass community, we always try to partner up with local glass blowers to do so.
Wow, that's great. So what is your final message to those looking for a healthy and safe option for consuming cannabis?
I think first and foremost, like I said earlier in this interview, just find a vaporizer. Any vaporizer that meets your needs. That is step one. Mm-hmm. But if you are looking for kind of, the premium experience on top of that, then you should definitely take a look at the VapeXhale EVO. And this isn't just for the premium experience, but we have countless letters from, one patient that I always like to bring up. She's 54 years old. She never consumed cannabis until she was 53. She has fibromyalgia, and she suffered from it since her mid-20s. And since her mid-20s, she's only slept in 2 and 3 hour increments.
Wow.
After trying several medications, she was finally recommended to try cannabis. So she was kind of adverse to smoking, so she bought a cheap vaporizer. And after utilizing the vaporizer, she slept 4 hours that night.
Wow.
Super excited. So she went and bought a mid-tier vaporizer in the $200-300 range. And that night, she slept for 6 hours.
Wow.
And upon doing some more research online on the various vaporizer forums, she found that the VapeXhale EVO was the one that provided the most concentrated inhalation of medicine.
Yeah.
So she went ahead, took the plunge, and bought our machine, and she ended up sleeping 9 hours the first night that she got our device. So what I've always told people is, there are varying levels of vaporizers, obviously buy the one that you can afford.
Yes.
But if you're looking for the healthiest vaporizer that produces the most potent hit and is also extremely efficient with your medicine, as someone that has tried it, I mean, maybe you could vouch for me. It doesn't require the same amount that you normally require.
Yes, exactly.
So, we kind of have this value-added total cost of ownership calculator that we have that kind of states if you consume this much over the course of like a week, vaporizer will pay for itself in a matter of months. So, those are just kind of the things that I'd like to leave your viewers and listeners with, which is, not all vaporizers are built the same. And if you are really looking for that premium experience that can not only give you the tastiest and thickest hits, but also be extremely efficient with your medicines and oils, then, please take a look at the VapeXhale EVO.
Awesome. So where can everybody find you guys on social media and on the internet?
So on the internet, just go to vapexhale.com. That's spelled V as in Victor, APEXHLALE.com. On Twitter and Facebook, it's just twitter.com, facebook.com/VapeXhale. And then on Instagram, unfortunately, someone beat us to the punch, so we're Team VapeXhale on Instagram.
Wonderful. So let me ask you a few more questions that weren't on the list. Sorry to surprise you with them. But VapeXhale and HotBox, how do you see HotBox being able to help the industry and companies like VapeXhale moving forward?
Well, I think HotBox occupies a very specific niche in this industry, which is to focus on products. The publications and companies that I've seen, kind of focus on the industry as a whole, and products is just the, kind of small section of what their offering is. So I believe having a company like HotBox that is focused on just products, really enhances our ability to get in front of a customer, because the customer knows that this is the de facto source for cannabis-related products.
I can't thank you enough, man, for taking the time to chat with us.
Absolutely.